Hey everyone, welcome back to the True Lane YouTube channel. I'm Chelsea and this is episode 10 of the True Lane Knits Yarn Podcast. So welcome back. If you've been here before, welcome if you're new. I'm feeling great today. I intended to record this new episode before my week-long trip to Minneapolis. Didn't pan out, but that's okay. I was really looking forward to getting my hair done while I was there to feel a little bit more like myself. I wasn't expecting to pick up a cold in Minneapolis, but we're here again. My voice sounds a little off. Hopefully it's not too annoying to listen to. That's just where we're at right now. I ended up getting, I don't know if anybody cares about my hair, but my hair is like, it's been a process. I haven't felt like myself in my hair for the last couple of years. It's just a constantly like evolving journey, I guess. So yeah, I'm back with my like freshened up layers, feeling a lot more like myself, so that's great news. On the knitting front, I'm not wearing anything handmade today. I was feeling like I wanted some like October energy, so this shirt kind of reminds me of like Halloween for some reason. I don't know. It's like orange striped. I thought it'd be a little peppy, and it's kind of a dreary day outside, which is excellent. In Washington, we finally started getting some rain and gray weather, which is perfect, cozy knitting weather. So where to begin? I think that we can jump into my finished objects, which I'm excited to talk about for sure. So my first finished object is my festival sweater, which was my sweater I was working on for October. It was my October sweater, I was calling it. And it is completely finished. So here it is. This is a PetiteKnit pattern using Explorer Knits extra sprinkles for the main color, and the color Waffle Cone is the accent color. This was so much fun to knit. I think I talked a little bit about it in the last podcast when it was in progress, but I should try it on to show you guys how it fits because I'm quite pleased with the fit, but maybe I'll do that at the end and cut it in here so you can see what it's like on. But I knit, oh yeah, this is the one I knit kind of between an extra small and a small, just because I wanted it to be a very comfortable fit, not form-fitting at all, and it worked out quite well. Again, this one had a lot of new techniques for me. I think in my last podcast episode I said this was going to be my first kind of grown-up sweater. It's got a folded neckband, which I'm really jazzed about, and short rows shaping the back so that the back stands up taller and the front has more of like a natural, I don't know what you would call that, but it like stands higher and then just like follows, I guess, the shape of your neckline better. I was low-key playing a game of Yarn Chicken while making this sweater. I mentioned in my last podcast that I was really afraid I was going to have to shorten the sleeve length. This is how much of the main color I have left. So probably like a few yards, maybe like 6 to 10 yards, which is pretty miraculous for a full-size sweater. And I did do some alternating of skeins throughout the body, and then I knit the arms, the sleeves, mostly with one skein, and then down here I like ran out of yarn, so I had to use yarn scrap from finishing the body and kind of alternated those two just to integrate it until I finished the sleeve. I think this is probably the cutest sweater I've ever made. Obviously I'm not the designer, but like what I chose for the color and just the colors, the main color and the contrast color, I think like it turned out exactly like how I would want it to, you know what I mean? Like it's just such a cute piece, and I've been wearing it so much. I love it with this brown like vest I have, so that's gonna be like a repeat fall outfit for sure. And I have been getting a lot of compliments when I wear it out because I've worn it to a couple of like places where knitters would be, which reminds me I actually have a story time, which maybe I'll talk about when I bring out my whips because that is relevant. So yeah, this is my finished festival sweater. I think I forgot to mention the yarn I used was the Rockies DK base from Explorer Knits, and so I used up all of my 4 extra sprinkle skeins, and then my Waffle Cone, the contrast color, I only used about 50 grams, so I've got about half of the skein left for that one. I just feel like if I could put my personality into a sweater, this would be it. I think I mentioned the little baubles, or you know, nubs, whatever you want to call them, were a bit tedious, and they certainly were on the arms. I used the 9-inch circulars that I had for the sleeves, and it was a lot harder than the body. Like, I didn't think it could get more tedious, but it did. The thing about the 9-inch circulars was that the chunks that are not the baubles went very quickly, because like if you're doing the whole thing on magic loop, I don't know if this would have fit on 16-inch circulars with the decreases, but the 9-inch circulars, like you don't have to readjust if you're doing magic loop like every half row, and so the sleeves, like this whole thing went very quickly. I was very surprised, but I was pretty determined to finish it before my trip to Minneapolis so that I could wear it there, and I did that. So this is my first finished object. I am so pleased with it. I'm kind of sad that knitting this is over because it was so much fun, but my next sweater that I cast on is equally fun to work with so far. So there she is, my festival sweater. Highly recommend the pattern if you want something a little bit different than just a stockinette body. I think that this pattern is a really cute and fun one to try out. My next finished object is my hat for Shop La Mercery's Knit Along, the Life Knit Aquatic, and it is this red Steve Zissou hat. Boy, is this cute. I used the Purl Soho classic ribbed hat pattern, and the yarn is Hedgehog Fibers Merino DK in the color Sin. This perfect red color, and I sized up 2 needle sizes and knit 1 size smaller than I would have. So I knit the adult small. I have kind of a large head, so I would normally knit at least a medium, if not a large. Since I sized up the needle and it would have a slightly different gauge, I just decided to size down, which I think was a good idea, because now that I've blocked it, it fits perfectly. Before I blocked it, it was a little bit snug, but it feels really good now. And something that I've been doing on my hats lately is adding an extra inch before I start the crown, because I've realized I like my hats to be a little bit taller. I think on the Purl Soho website, which this is a free pattern, awesome, they show it like really flat to the head, and especially for like a Steve Zissou beanie, I really wanted it to have like a little something extra. And so yeah, I knit to where the pattern said to start the crown, and then I knit an extra inch. I was like, I just know I'm gonna want it, and also like I don't mind how thick a folded brim is. Like the thicker, not the thicker the better, but like I'd rather have more room to adjust it and have a thicker fold than have it be like too small. Okay, that's not cute, but hopefully you know what I mean. Like if the brim was half the size, I'd rather have it have a thicker fold than a thinner fold, is all I'm saying. I'm really happy I made this, and I'm really happy that I got to participate in my first knit along. I haven't posted the finished object on Instagram yet, but I will be sure to tag La Mercery when I do. They're an awesome yarn shop here in Washington State. This was such a fun idea for a knit along, so I'm really happy that I participated. I have a lot of trouble knitting crowns. All of my decreases end up excruciatingly bad, just like zigzag crooked, which you can tell if I like zoom in. And I thought it was so bad I thought it would be unwearable, like embarrassing. But blocking helped so much. I legitimately stretched out this line like so much to try and get the stitches to even out, and it's wearable now. Like I'm very happy about how that turned out, because I was almost about to wear this like inside out, which looks like a little bit strange, but not too strange because it's ribbing, so it's like virtually reversible. But I was very pleased with how much blocking helped with my stitches. I haven't been able to figure out the tension on these crowns yet. This is definitely the hat I'm most happy with, that like fits my head the best. Probably next to my Manhattan hat. I really love that pattern. So I'm kind of thinking like, I kind of heavily block all of my hats, everything I make really, but especially my hats. So I think sizing down would be like beneficial for me going forward. Like the way that I knit this plus blocking like perfectly fits my head. So I might honestly, like another hat pattern, size up a couple of needle sizes and knit the smaller size and then block it, because I'm just really happy with how this turned out. So that is my second finished object, and I actually do have 2 more, but they are with my niece and nephew in Minnesota. I got to hand deliver their knit hats to them for, I think I'll be able to insert pictures or something, but for my nephew, I had the work in progress in my last podcast episode. I knit the Hipster hat by PetiteKnit in a really cute rust color, and that turned out perfect. And then for my niece, I knit Tori Knit's Manhattan hat in a little tiny child's eyes. So cute. And a really nice kind of, what kind of blue would that be called? Almost a dusty blue, but not too dusty. It's just a nice like mid-range blue color, and they are so cute in them. We got to all wear our hand knit hats together. My Hipster hat is in like this amazing emerald green color, and we just looked really cute all wearing our hats together. Hand knit by Auntie Chelsea. The kids Manhattan hat I knit in a day, like start to finish, cast on to bind off. I was really surprised that I could do that. I didn't know I could knit a full-on hat in a day. Granted, there was only like 80 stitches around until you started doing decreases, so it did go really quickly, but I kind of like waited until my trip to like start it, so I was like, oh no, it's gonna take me like a week and then I'll have to block it, and no, I knit it in a day. So that was pretty, I mean, granted I knit like all day, not stopping for food nor water, but that's not true. But I was really proud of myself. I didn't know I could knit a hat in a day, and now I know I can. I think those are all of my finished objects. So now we're moving on to whips, which is a little bit involved this episode because I've come to a realization, or I've set a goal. My official like 2022 knitting goal is I want to finish every single one of my whips by the end of the year and start 2023 off totally clean slate, no random project bags hanging about. And I think I can do it. I feel motivated now that I've like set the goal and have it in mind. So the biggest challenge I think in this is going to be not casting on anything new until they're done. Like if I want to work on something, it has to be already on the needles right this minute. But there's just too many things hanging in the ether right now that I'm like, I need to either abandon them, like kill them like forever, or finish them. And I don't think there's anything I don't want to make that I already have in progress. So that's the goal. So we are touching on every single one of my whips today. Even the ones that have been in hibernation, we're bringing them back out. We're seeing where we are. It's gonna be great. So I'm just gonna start with my most recent whip, which is the most exciting one, my new sweater project, which also involves story time. So I've cast on my Wednesday sweater, which is another PetiteKnit pattern, but I'm using I'm using Kinetic Knitter's Crowd Pleaser Suri, so that's the variegated color, and holding it together with Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool. I am so impressed with these yarns. Wow, no wonder Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool has such a reputation. It is wonderful. It is the recommended yarn for this pattern, and I'm very glad that I decided to use it. So as you can see, I'm well into the body. Oh, I just dropped a ball of yarn. Classic. With a totally new construction that I have never done before. So you start on the back, knit yourself a trapezoid, do the shoulders, join in the round. As with any new knitting technique, I was so afraid of this. I thought it was going to be so hard, and it was not. Big shocker. And it just went so smoothly, and I'm so excited about how this yarn is working up. Like, this sweater is going to be so beautiful. It's going to have this huge twisted rib collar with really long like split seam twisted rib ribbing. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited about it. It feels so good. The story time is that I met up with the Kinetic knitter Kara when I was in Minneapolis, and with another Instagrammer. Her name's Kenzie Knits, who they're both amazing. I love them so much. So So you should definitely give them a follow on Instagram if you have not. I know I've already talked about Kara on this podcast before, but I don't think I've mentioned Kenzie. So they together have a podcast called K2 Together, K2 Tog podcast. It's like the knitting abbreviation. And so we met up at a yarn shop in Minneapolis and then went and had happy hour after. And not only are they so amazing, I have a crazy story to share. So I used to live in Minneapolis when I was like 20 through 23. While we were at happy hour, Kara and I, it turned out that Kara and I worked on the same floor for like 3 years. At the same company, same department, same floor. And like when I started watching the K2 Together podcast, I was like, why do I recognize her face and like her name? And once I found out her last name, like her full name, I was like, I can't place this, but I know it. And it turns out I knew it from the employee directory. Like, I like knew her. I don't know that we ever like met. Thinking back now, I'm like pretty sure we interacted at one point, but like Kara and I, like Kinetic Knitter, worked on the same floor for 3 years, 10 years ago. 10 years later, I buy her yarn. Like, I became a knitter, found this yarn company, bought her yarn, met up, and like we worked on the same floor. I can't even fathom how crazy that is. So we were dying at dinner because I was like naming all these coworkers. She knew them all. My old boss, like it was wild. It was like kismet. Like somehow we were drawn together again by the universe, and I just could not. I still can't believe it. It's such a wild story. Anyway, so that's the story that comes with this sweater. It's October 25th. This was going to be my sweater I focused on in November. I feel like the ribbing is going to take me an inordinate amount of time. So I definitely won't like finish this by November, but I feel like maybe the first half of November I could have this done. And I'm just so happy with how it's working up. I think it's so, I need to cover my sleeve so I can see how this will look on me. There we go, some hair in front of it. It's going to be so cute. I'm so excited. The Peruvian Highland wool, I'm pretty sure is worsted with the Suri, so it's working up very quickly. So satisfying to knit. If you want, like I would recommend like going to order Crowd Pleaser from Kinetic Knitter on Suri. Like make this sweater. It is such a joy. The colors are so amazing. That is my first whip. I'm knitting the size extra small because this is quite a large style of sweater, and I figured that would be plenty of room. And I think I'm right. Like I think it looks like it will be a good fit. So very excited about that. I am alternating skeins. At one point I was alternating from 2 skeins of Suri, both the inside and the outside, like pulling from the center and from the outside. Bad idea. Nobody ever tried that. So now I'm just alternating 2 skeins back and forth, and I think it's working out quite well. You can tell a little bit of the difference from when I was working back and forth to do the back. It's a little bit more concentrated, but I think once the sweater's all done and it's all together and you're looking at the sweater as a whole, I don't think it will be that noticeable. So that is the Wednesday sweater, my first whip, and also my main focus. So we're just gonna like breeze right through the rest. My next whip is actually a crochet piece. You'll see behind me I have a brown pillow on my bed, and I made that in the spring, and there's actually another pillow right behind it that just doesn't have a cover. So we're crocheting the next one right now. This was one of the first projects I started last year. I think I started it like in the fall and then finished it in the spring once I started picking fiber arts back up again. So this is using Lion Brand Vanna's Choice in Barley. It's like a nice brown tweed yarn. There's Vanna. And I'm doing like a little waffle knit pillow cover. So this has a long way to go. I need to make it a square and then double that because I'm folding it over one side, seaming together the 2 sides, and then inserting a zipper at the bottom so I can wash it. But I'm tired of having just my one pillow done and the naked pillow behind it. So this is a whip I've actually picked up started working on, and I can't wait to get that out of my life. I have so many of these balls of yarn because there's only 145 yards in here. So I can't wait to have my finished pillow. That's another one I'm working on. Another WIP that I have is this Sophie scarf, which I started a while ago. I've made absolutely no progress. I might abandon it. I don't think I will. I'm not going to abandon it, but this is something I need to like put on the docket to finish. And I have quite a bit of yarn. I don't know. I want to make the Sophie shawl. It's just like a huge version of the Sophie scarf. I don't know that I would want one in this color, so I might just finish up this little scarf and then figure something out for the actual shawl, but this is something we're going to finish by the end of the year. And I know I can because I can knit a Sophie scarf in one day. So I just need to like find a day and commit to it one day when I'm in the mood. Okay, next WIP is this sock that I have made progress on. I don't know that I've made progress from the last time it was seen, but this is something I need to finish up by the end of the year for sure. This is knit in Olivia and Oliver Fibers Pixie Dust, and this is the color Dusty Rose, I believe. I've talked about this sock enough in previous podcasts, but just wanted to touch on it as something we gotta finish by the end of the year. So we need to finish this sock foot and toe and then knit its mate. I'm just doing the Crazy Sock Ladies Vanilla Socks pattern, my go-to. Super simple. Let's get her done. Another newer WIP that you guys would have seen already is my Sweetheart Rib Top, which is a Friday Knits pattern using Fiber Spates Vivacious 4-ply sock yarn in the color Gecko, this amazing green. And I have knit a few more rows, I think, since the last time we spoke, but this is still going to be like a mildly time-consuming project that if I'm focusing on my, like, this will probably get more love after I finish my Wednesday sweater, just because, like, it's a camisole. It's not like a huge project, but it is like time-consuming because you have to do like 20 inches of ribbing. It's not like a priority to get it done because it is a tank top in the middle of winter, but I did cast it on, and if I want to complete all of my WIPs in 2022, this is something that needs to get done. I love this pattern, and now that I've had more experience doing short rows, I'm really excited to do the sweetheart shaping on the front because I know what I'm doing now and I won't mess up like I did on my first one. So that is what will become the Sweetheart Ribbed Top. So that would be WIP number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what is in here? Oh gosh. So this is my ruffle sock. If you watch any podcast episodes from New York, you might remember this guy. He just needs a mate, and the reason I haven't made it is because I'm a bit bummed about how the fit of this one turned out. I think to make ruffle socks like I envision in my mind, the leg needs to be maybe double to actually cover my ankle, because this goes like just below my ankle. And I think blocking will help quite a bit if I put it like on the sock blocker to stretch it out, but I just need to knit this up. Again, I need my stitch markers back. I need these out of my life. So I clearly don't have the label anymore, but I know this is Drops. It's Drops, and it's in the color Old Pink. So it's a sock yarn, it's got nylon in it. I think Alpaca too, maybe. But this sock, it's gonna get a mate. It really will. So that is WIP number 6. Wow, I have so many things in here in this bag. I've got a sock needle in here, a stitch counter, and a bunch of beginning round or stitch markers. You know, the little Cocoa Knits ones. No one, they're all in here. There's 3 in here. I thought I needed to buy more. Here they all are. That's another sock project that will get wrapped up by the end of the year, because I really do want to have that pair of socks. Even if I'm not happy with the fit right now, I really do believe that blocking is going to help them out a lot. So I want those socks. The next one, if you're new here, you won't remember this, but if you've watched the New York episodes, you will. This is my Rubus blouse. Doesn't look like much because I have done absolutely 0 things on it, but it's funny. I didn't understand the construction of this shirt now that I've started the Wednesday sweater, I understand it a little bit more. Like it didn't register how knitting flat would become a garment. But now that I've done the Wednesday sweater, like the complicated parts that I was intimidated by, I feel more empowered to continue on this one. So this is the Rubus blouse, which is a refined knitwear pattern. I'm a huge fan of all their patterns. This is the first one I'm knitting up, and I'm excited to have it because I'm always very inspired by just looking at their patterns, quite honestly. And to make it, I'm using 2 strands of Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in Dusty Olive, which is this beautiful green color. I am excited to have this garment in my wardrobe, so quite honestly, I might focus on this guy after the Wednesday sweater before doing the Sweetheart ribbed top, just because like I am feeling inspired and excited to get going on this one. So that will be WIP number 7 that I have 2 months to complete. I have been having such a strong case of cast-on-itis lately because I have all these sweater quantities of yarn that I'm so excited about. I'll probably talk about them in my plans, but I'm just itching to cast on another sweater. Like, I'll just be like literally late at night, like on my computer, and be like, should I watch a movie and cast on a new sweater? I'm sure that you guys understand. If anyone did, it would be you guys. I'm pretty sure that's everything. So next section of the video is going to be acquisitions, which I have really a lot of. I'm kind of surprised, but earlier this month I went to the first annual Pacific Northwest Fiber Expo, which was my first yarn event. Actually, it might have been at the end of September. No, it was the first weekend of October, that's right. It was on October 1st, and it was on the Olympic Peninsula, which is probably the most gorgeous region of Washington State. There's a ton of rainforests, a ton of mountain ranges, you're on the ocean, it's amazing. So I went to this yarn expo, and I had a friend there who is a yarn dyer, Willow on the Water, if any of you are familiar with her, and I found so many great new local people to support. So I'm excited to share everything I got from them with you, and then I got in a couple of pre-orders that I made for some upcoming projects. So let's dive in to what I bought from the Pacific Northwest Fiber Expo. I honestly haven't looked at these in a while, so I'm like excited to remember what I bought. Oh yeah. Oh, so pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just gonna start with like my favorite thing I bought there, which was from this yarn dyer named Jada Wu Designs. She was awesome, so friendly. Loved getting to talk to her. She had this amazing snack collection, and the packaging to die for. This is mint chocolate chip ice cream, obviously. That's the yarn skein in there, in this cute little to-go ice cream cup. And there used to be a spoon on the top. It looks like it came off. And then I had to get buttered popcorn. Popcorn is one of my favorite foods. And when I saw this packaging, like this buttered popcorn yarn inside the popcorn sleeve, could not walk away from it. Like, had to have. So these are the 2 things I got. Here's the buttered popcorn color. Or maybe that's a brown speckle. I can't tell. Anyway, it's this nice creamy golden yellow. Looks just like buttered popcorn. And then, so it does look like there's a few little brown speckles in it, probably for like the current, you know, maybe some unpopped kernels in there. This is 100% superwash merino wool fingering weight. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. I might just look at it for the rest of time, but it's so cute. And then this is the mint chocolate chip color, which I low-key got because my older sister is obsessed with mint chocolate chip ice cream. So I thought I might make socks for her, but they only had, or she only had the superwash merino left. So there's no nylon in here, which I really like to use for my socks so they're more durable. But oh my gosh, look at this color. It's coming a little more blue on the screen than it is IRL. It's like a proper mint green with little chocolatey brown speckles. But it's so cute. Oh no. It's so cute, it can't even keep itself together. Okay, well, it's at least secure. So this is the mint chocolate chip ice cream. Another one I had to get, which was actually on sale, which I was kind of surprised that there was like a sale section at this Fiber Expo, because literally were all there to buy fibers. So I guess this is just one she'd had in her shop for a long time, but it's from Bigfoot Yarn Co. Wow, this is so beautiful. The color is called Ironborn, and I got the fingering, superwash merino, and La Llorona lace. Okay, sorry if the background is a little bit off. My battery died. So I just thought these would make like a beautiful Oslo hat or some kind of hat pattern. This color is just so stunning. I had to have it as soon as I saw it. So I was really glad I got to get the combination because it's just glorious. So yeah, this is the mohair silk and this is 100% superwash merino. So that was another thing I was really excited to get. This one I just was wowed by the color. It's called Mulberry Pink from Fiber Play. And this is actually 75% superwash Corriedale wool and 25% nylon. I feel like it's a worsted weight. No, it says fingering. Which, see, I'm embarrassed that I just said that, but you know, whatever. I guess it is fingering. It's quite thin, but it's like a chunky skein, so I guess that's the like the Corriedale, you know, it's a different type of fiber. But look at these amazing pinks and like lilacs in here. Like, very stunning color. It's pretty much represented precisely on camera how it is in real life. It's just this amazing like heathery shade. Love it. I thought this would also make a really cute hat. But I guess you could actually make socks with it too because it's fingering weight. I thought it was like a DK or something, but that is so good. And then from Willow on the Water, who's my friend Willow, I treated myself to this bulky merino superwash, 109 yarns, 100% extra fine merino wool in the color Autumn Gold, which, wow, oh my gosh, that is so pretty. Like slight variation in there of just these autumn tones. Oh my gosh, and it's so soft. I'm emotionally attached to this yarn. Like, wow. Stunning. Stunning. Thought this would make a really cute hat too. This would go really well with my outfit today. So I'm really excited to have this. It's just so squishy. If she has any of this base bulky merino superwash on her website, go snap it up. It is so good. Oh my gosh. That's gorgeous. And then I picked out this amazing green color of her Ultimate Sock yarn, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. What luxury. In the color Not Giving Up, Just Giving In. And I just loved the name so much. It like, I was in a really emo mood when I was at this Fiber Expo, like taking the ferry and driving, like being on a road trip by myself, like listening to a lot of really emo music on my drive. I was just like really in my feelings on this trip, and for some reason really like it made me feel things when I picked it up. And it's this amazing mossy green color with like, I think you can see on camera like the variation, like there's some bluer tones and then some warmer tones, and I just think this would be like gorgeous. I don't know what I'm gonna make with it, but all of her colors are so incredible. And she told me, I told her I was so moved by the name. She told me that well, I learned that Willow doesn't use dye recipes, so she just like dyes what's on her heart and mind that day, and then when she's tagging, she just names the colors like song lyrics from whatever she's listening to. And I was just like, that is so beautiful. So I don't know what song this is from, Not Giving Up, Just Giving In, but I was like, again, I was just so moved. I had to have this, and I feel like if I were to make a shawl, I would want to use Willow on the Water yarn, and like any other colors that she makes I feel would go wonderfully with this. Like, I don't know what this will be someday, but I have to have it. It's just such a great like Pacific Northwest vibe, and it's so soft. It's that 85-15, man. Luxurious. So I'm very excited to have those. So those are my purchases from the Fiber Expo, my first yarny event. It was wonderful. I feel like I really went out of my comfort zone. Like, I got some like fun colors, like this yellow and mint and blue and pink. Like, nice job, Chelsea. Nice job. So my next acquisitions I'm so excited about. I finally got to make a purchase from the Scranton Stitcher, Katie Sue on Instagram, who's like the sweetest human being maybe on planet Earth. She's just like, following her just makes me smile every day. I love her so much. She launched a cereal collection, which like, clearly I'm inspired by food constantly, because like I had to have this snack collection, I had to get this cereal collection. So let's just be honest, everything in my life is motivated by food. The first colorway I had to get from her was Lucky Charms, because it's probably my favorite treat cereal, but it's between that and Frosted Flakes. And I just thought this was a really unique shade to have like the yellow base with these pastel colors. She had a Fruit Loops colorway too, which is not my favorite cereal, but it had like a much more cool white base. I was just really intrigued by this yellow one. So I got the DK Superwash Merino, and again, not sure what I'm gonna make with it, but had to have it. So excited. Love all the pretty shades in here, and I love her new label. It's so like 70s minimal chic. Big fan, big fan. So that's Lucky Charms. And then I also really love Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so I had to grab this sock set with the chocolate milk accent color. And these speckles are so wonderful. And the tones, like she really nailed this warm, but like chocolatey brown, cinnamon brown, I guess you would say. And I'm just so jazzed about this sock set. It's such a cute idea. And so I'm really happy to have these two Scranton Stitcher things in my stash. Another thing I got was a pre-order from Olivia and Oliver Fibers. I've never knit with tweed yarn before, and Olivia and Oliver is just about my favorite yarn dyer that like exists in the world. And so I decided if I was gonna jump on the tweed yarn train, it was gonna be from her. I ordered enough of her tweed DK in the color Seashore to make, drumroll, the Brooklyn Raglan from Tori Knits. And I just love this color. Wow, it's like an amazing taupey gray neutral with like, is there a hint of pink in there? Possibly. But I just think this is going to be such a nice sweater, and this, it's just so soft, so soft. I don't know when I'm gonna cast it on. It'll probably, let's say like early on in 2023, which I cannot believe it's gonna be 2023. I know I sound so basic right now, but I'm just, 2023 is right around the corner, and I just cannot. 2023, 23. Whenever I order from Olivia and Oliver Fibers, I always try to get as much as possible at once because the shipping is so expensive from the Netherlands. I can't believe this was still available. She also had 4 skeins of this one-of-a-kind colorway that is so gorgeous. I genuinely can't believe no one had snapped it up yet. It's this green color that's just like amazing. It's a little more rich or vibrant than the camera's picking up right now. Does it match my eyes? Not quite. My eyes are more gray. But when I wear green, it kind of brings out the green in my eyes. But I just feel like this is my Cumulus blouse. Like, I feel like it is. I feel like I have to have a Cumulus blouse in this bright green color. Oh, I think that's it. It's kind of interesting, like I'm making a lot of green stuff, but all the shades are so different. Like this is much more, there you go. And then like my Rubus blouse, which is the Knitting for Olive green, like that's much more of a brown army green. And then obviously the Sweetheart rib top is much more of like a electric, like lime green. I was like worried at first that I was getting too many green things, but I was like, this is such a unique green that it will, whatever else I'm making, it'll just fit right into my wardrobe. So I'm super excited to knit with this. I cannot believe nobody got this. It's one of a kind. So it shall never be recreated, but wow, am I obsessed. Okay, 2 more green yarns to show you. The first one was a gift from the Kinetic knitter when we met up. She gave me this skein of yarn. It's called Mighty Pine, and I think you can tell it's green in the camera. It's a very deep, rich green that I am obsessed with. And this is an 80/20 merino nylon base, 400 yards. This is our twisted sock base. It's very squishy, feels great. I think this would make an amazing pair of, because it's like a tonal, a nice pair of like lace socks, which I've been wanting to experiment with. So maybe I'll do something like that. Maybe I'll make, I don't know, maybe it will just remain on my shelf looking gorgeous. But I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Kara, for giving me this. That was so sweet of you. Did not have to. Bless your heart. My next green yarn is from, did I do this September Lord of the Rings colorway? I think I got Lord of the Rings really early on in September, so I think I did. But it's my October Lord of the Rings club yarn from Long Dog Yarn, so if you haven't gotten yours yet, stop watching. But wow, I was so excited for this yarn. So this is the second Return of the King yarn. The first one was for Gondor. The second one, the inspiration was the Army of the Dead that Aragorn like wrangles to come help the battle. And when she like posted the inspo for October, I like got chills because it's like the way is shut. When I opened this, I got chills again because oh my gosh, this like, how did she capture a ghost, like an undead, you know, warrior king in yarn? I don't know, but she nailed it. If you're familiar with the scene in The Return of the King, you will probably feel as emo as I in this moment because it's like glowing. Like this yarn is glowing. I cannot. Oh. And I've been like deep in Lord of the Rings lore right now because I'm watching Rings of Power. My family and I have so many like problems with the show that we're like annoyed by, but I came to the realization that like I'm so happy to be in the world of Middle Earth again and like learn all these backstories of all these people, even if the writing isn't what I want it to be, or they're like, they overuse the bait and switch, they make so many plot choices, and just, there's so many choices that I disagree with in the show. But overall I'm like so excited about it. I'm so excited about it that somebody has already dyed Rings of Power yarn. Her name is The Good Moss on Etsy and Instagram. And she has a colorway called the Fall of Numenor. That like, Numenor and Elendil is my new identity. So like, I saw it and I bought it immediately. And the color was so beautiful too. Anyway, so this is maybe my favorite color from the Lord of the Rings club. It's called the Army of the Dead. I got the bounce sock, 75% merino, 25% nylon. Just gorgeous. So your girl's piling on the green yarn. It's everywhere. And that's okay. So let's talk a little bit about plans. Because obviously I'm knitting up all of my whips through the end of the year. And then, depending on how much time I have, hold on. Okay, so I've had this yarn caked up for a while. That's going to become a hat. It's La Bien Aimée Confetti Cordale Tweed Gray. I guess technically I'm not allowed to cast this on until everything is done here. But this will be cast on, you know, soon. I think this would be a great cute hat. So let's dive into the sweaters that I'm excited about, because I got this PetiteKnit Sunday Sadness Garn yarn a couple of months ago. Finally got the mohair to pair with it that I bought from La Mercerie last time I was in the store, or the first time I was in the store, I think. And they look perfect together. And so I'm really excited to have this kind of like rusty red sweater, which I'm thinking I'll make the Monday sweater from PetiteKnit out of this. I think that would be a really cute silhouette for this like color pairing. And so that's something I'm also really eager to cast on, but I feel like the next sweater I cast on, proper sweater, after the Wednesday sweater is going to be the caramel sweater, which I'm making with literal caramel yarn. One of these is called caramel. I think this is camel and this is caramel if I remember correctly. But it's got that nice like wide rib turtleneck and then a wide rib bottom. And PetiteKnit recently posted like a video. She was wearing a black caramel sweater and I really liked the fit of it. It was like not too oversized. And I don't often think about having like a fitted turtleneck, but I really liked how it fit on her. And so I think I might go for that kind of vibe when knitting my caramel sweater. Obviously I can't get all the, can I even get all this stuff done in 2 months? Like, be honest with me. It's a sweater, a short sleeve shirt, and a camisole, 2 socks, a mini scarf, and a pillow cover. Be honest with me. Can I get that done by the end of the year? I don't know. So this might, I'm like, let me cast this on in December. Probably not. This would be a January cast on. Or later. I don't know. How much knitting time do I have in my life? I definitely want to cast on the caramel sweater next. So this will be like my focus as soon as all the whips are done. It is very likely that I will cast on the Monday sweater at the same time. Just knowing myself. And I think I just have to accept that. The other thing is someone who watched my video commented that we want to make the Ingrid sweater. And I like low-key mentioned that we should cast it on the first of the year together. I'm not so sure I feel like committing to that anymore. But I do have this Sadness Garn Smart yarn in this lovely charcoal gray color that's a little bit heathered. And I feel like this would make an amazing Ingrid slipover, which I want to have slipovers in my life. I feel like it would be a good jumping off point. If you guys follow Alexandra's Garn, she's like fearless when it comes to knitting and can like crank out anything in like 3 weeks. And she was like very intimidated by the Ingrid sweater and decided to start with the Ingrid slipover, which I think is kind of smart, especially because a lot of the problems I've seen with people is around the sleeves, like things that they've been questioning and like can't figure out how to do. So I'm like, maybe I should make the Ingrid slipover. So I feel like that's something I might want to try like in the springtime maybe, or like February, March. Maybe. I just feel like this would be a really cute, like basic, throw it over a white tee type of look. So that's a plan I have. My Brooklyn raglan I'm really excited about. This feels like it could be a good spring knit. Even though it's tweed, it's like a nice light color. So I mean, I don't really need to plan like this far in advance. I'm just really excited. And with the yarn I have, I feel like I'm like allowed to talk about what plans I have for it. Like, it's my yarn podcast. That's what I do. I think that's everything. I had, like I said, I had quite a few acquisitions this time. Oh, I know where my brain is at. I have my, next month I'm expecting my Autumn in New York yarn from Sorella, which is a collection that I like completely went ham on because I lived in New York earlier this year for a couple of months for the summer. If you guys remember, like I didn't have the greatest time, but I love New York City so much. I visited so much. I love to visit. It was just like an unfortunate, chaotic compilation of events that happened while I was there. And so like when this collection came out, Autumn in New York is like my favorite time of year, favorite place to be. I just felt so, I felt like buying the yarn would like redeem the bad experience I had over this summer. And I was so inspired by all of the colors. Like, I wanted to like knit new memories of New York City that I could look back on with joy instead of remembering all the negative things that happened over the summer. So I'm waiting for that yarn to come in, and I know I'm gonna have like plans for that yarn that I want to make soon. We'll get to that, you know, next year. So that's the podcast today. I hope you had a great time watching, working on whatever you are working on. Does anyone else have a goal to finish up their whips by the end of the year? I've been so inspired by Knitting Natty's journey to destash all of her yarn in 2022. I low-key wanted that for myself in 2023, but I don't think it's possible for me. No, I don't want to say that. It is possible for me, but I'm not sure it's as much of a priority as I thought it would be. I think it's more about like stash management for me. Like, I don't know, once I start talking about my plans and what I am going to be knitting, I get a little bit less stressed because I'm like, okay, you know, I know which yarn isn't going to be taking up space soon. But yeah, I'm really excited about the end of the year coming and what we have planned for the future. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I'll plan to catch you in the next one, which will hopefully be in 2 to 3 weeks, because again, like, I didn't anticipate having this long of a break between podcasts, but que sera, sera. So I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a great time until we see each other next time. So